Manhattan still carried a chilly early morning breeze, sunlight streaming into Villa's living room through little French windows. Haley had just finished cleaning the dining room and was about to take the dishes to the kitchen, when a muffled good morning came from the doorway. She looked up and saw Eric, Alexander Volkov's personal assistant and bodyguard, standing in the doorway. He was dressed in a neat gray shirt and black trousers, his features were sharp, his face expressionless. "Morning, Eric," Haley whispered back, setting the plates nervously. Eric just gave her a cold look and said nothing more. Linda, noticing the tense atmosphere, tried to smooth things over with a casual air. "Haley, could you please clean the living room as well? Mr. Volkov has an important meeting today." "Okay," Haley nodded and gripped the tablecloth tighter. Eric's eyes never left her, as if he was constantly on guard against her doing something out of place. Haley lowered her head, wiping the table, but her mind raced. She'd only been here at WO days, so why was this assistant so cold? Was he suspicious of her, or did he simply dislike strangers? In the living room, Alexander was sitting on the sofa reading a document. Haley carefully moved around him, trying not to make any noise. Eric stood behind Alexander, his posture erect, like a statue. "There's a conference cycle this afternoon at 3:00, Eric said in a serious tone. "We've arranged for technical support. I'll be on standby at home." Alexander nodded without looking up. "Tell them to come in quietly." Haley isn't familiar with this playsite, so don't scare her. "I understand." Eric glanced at Haley, as if reminding her not to meddle in other people's business. Haley felt a pang of resentment. She just wanted to do her job, but she felt like someone was watching her. She secretly glanced at Alexander and saw that his brow was furrowed, clearly troubled by his work, but she didn't dare to speak out. She just finished cleaning the living room and quietly retreated to the side. After lunch, Haley went to the kitchen to help Linda with the dishes. As she washed the pots, Linda whispered, "How are you adjusting?" "It's okay, but..." Haley hesitated for a moment, but couldn't help but whisper, "Eric doesn't seem to like me very much." Linda smiled. "Don't take it personally. He used said to be a special forces soldier. After he retired, he's been following Mr. Volkov. He's calm but sensitive, and he doesn't trust new people. If you just hang in there for a few days, he'll stop being so wary of you." "But did I do something wrong?" Haley asked confusedly. "You're right." Linda patted her shoulder. "Sometimes, trust takes time to earn." Haley nodded, but she still felt a heavy burden on her heart. In the afternoon, while Alexander and Rick were busy in the study, Haley went to the backyard to tend to the garden. As usual, the air under the sun was fresh, with the smell of earth and grass. Haley was busy pruning roses when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around and saw Eric standing at the garden gate, his expression still serious. "How long have you been here?" Eric asked suddenly. "What?" Haley asked, a little flustered. I've been here since I moved in yesterday." Eric's eyes were sharp, as if he could see through every corner of her heart. "Where did you work before?" "In a nightclub." Haley lowered her head, not daring to look him in the eye. "It's Blue Heart. Leaving there because you got into trouble." "Yes." Haley's heart skipped a beat, wondering why he asked so directly. "Are you going back to places like nightclubs?" Eric asked. Haley shook her head. "No, I want to start over." Eric looked at her for a while and said coldly, "As long as you don't cause a trouble, no one here will bother you, but if you do something that makes the boss unhappy..." He didn't finish his words, just glanced at her meaningfully, turned and left. Haley stood there for a long moment, a mixture of emotions running through her. She hadn't done anything, yet it felt like she was about to be kicked out of the villa at any moment. In the evening, Alexander invited her to his study and briefly outlined his work schedule for the next few days. "Help Linda prepare breakfast tomorrow morning, then tidy up the guest rooms on the first floor. Every afternoon, take care of the garden and the carpet at the entrance to the study. Don't touch contents of the desk or drawers." "Okay, I'll pay attention," Haley answered obediently. Alexander looked up at her and said, "Don't be too nervous. Everyone needs time to adapt to the new environment." "Thank you for your trust." Haley felt warm in her heart. "By the way," he smiled, "don't pay any attention to Eric. He's just being too conscientious. He is really strict." Haley finally couldn't help but complain. Alexander chuckled softly. "You'll have to get used to it. In this family, it's not easy for anyone to trust others." In the evening, Haley made herself a cup of hot cocoa in the kitchen. When she was about to go back to her room, she heard whispers coming from the corridor. "Do you think she's reliable?" It was Eric's voice. "She needs a chance," Alexander said lightly. "But her background, she comes from a nightclub. No one will be fired for no reason," Eric questioned. "I'm not wrong in judging people," Alexander said firmly. Haley hid in the corner, her palms sweating. She suddenly realized that every step she took in this mansion was like walking on a tightrope. She could fall at any time. The next morning, Haley woke up early and took the initiative to help Linda prepare breakfast. Linda poured her a glass of milk and said, "Don't force yourself. You can talk about things you don't like." Haley shook her head. "I just wanted to prove that I could do it." Linda smiled gently. "You will succeed." After breakfast, Haley went to Clean's guest room. As soon as she entered the room, she found an expensive watch in the bedside table. She hesitated for a moment, then took the watch and knocked on the study door. Eric opened the door, glanced at his watch, and his expression suddenly turned cold. "What did you touch?" "I was just cleaning and brought it over when I saw the watch," Haley explained quickly. "Don't enter private space without permission from now on," Eric said sternly. Haley's heart tightened, feeling like she had just been deducted another point. During lunch break, Tina sent a message. "How are you today? Did that cold big guy bully you?" Haley replied with a smiley emoji. "Everything is fine. Bully's too much of a robot, Tina. Don't be afraid of him. If you have any problem, just go to your boss." "Haley, I just want to keep a low profile and not get kicked out." After sending the message, she breathed a sigh of relief. She really wanted a sense of security, but reality told her that security could only be earned. In the evening, Alexander came home. Late after working overtime, Haley prepared a cup of coffee for Hyman in the kitchen. When she brought Io the door of the study, she happened to hear an argument inside. "She is an outsider after all." Eric's voice was cold and hard. "I like her stubbornness," Alexander replied. "But she may not be worthy of your trust." "How do you know she won TB an unexpected opportunity?" The room was quiet for a while. Haley stood at the door with her coffee in hand. Suddenly, she felt fate of everyone in this family was wearing a mask, guarding against each other and relying on each other. She knocked on the door, and Alexander opened the door himself and smiled as he took the coffee. "Thank you. Good night." "Good night, sir." She turned back to the room, leaned against the door, and took a deep breath. As night fell, the villa gradually quieted. Haley sat on the bed, Herman turning over the day's events. She remembered Linda's words, "Trust is earned over time," but then she remembered Eric's words, "As long as you don't cause trouble, no one will bother you." She suddenly felt that what really made her feel difficult was uneasiness in her heart. "Can I really stay here? Connie be someone worthy of trust?" She closed her eyes, listening to the occasional footsteps outside, and the hustling bustle of the city in the distance. In the Manhattan night, some people were asleep, while others were alert, and she can only choose to grow in the cracks, until one day, she becomes the person who can be trusted.
Please stay tuned for the next episode.
See you there.